Stage one of Rush was 1975 through 1976. That sounds about right. What we'll do is we're gonna talk about these four albums real quickly. I'm gonna rank them from lowest to highest, and then at the end, I'm gonna go through and explain some of what's coming up in the coming weeks. So yeah, I mean, Rush has the whole stages thing, and I'll give you a quick explanation of what that is. Now, for stage one, it's four albums. It's their debut album, Rush, the second album, Fly By Night, Caress of Steel, and then 2112. And stage one ends officially with All the World's a Stage, which is their live album, which I've got on order and I've heard before. But also, I've heard what's on Different Stages Disc 3, which is basically the same stuff, just a different show, but it's the early Rush. I think it's more like stage two Rush playing the stage one and some of the stage two Rush stuff. You get the point. They're playing some of these stage one songs. And so that's what stage one of Rush is. It's their first stage, and it's gets off to a good start. So if this video takes longer than 10 minutes, then I've done something wrong. And so let's get right into it. All right. Number 4 is the debut album, Rush, 1974. Now, even though I have it last, it's not a bad album. This is a good record. It's good to listen to. When I did the review, I gave it 5 checks out of 8. So there's 8 tracks on here, and 5 of them are better than decent songs, and there are no skips. So you could just listen to this one from end to end and pretty much enjoy it. The tracks that I like are Need Some Love at 2 minutes and 19 seconds, Take a Friend at 4:24, What You're Doing at 4:22, which is a concert staple, and then 7 Before and After, 5 minutes and 34 seconds, and Working Man, which is also a concert staple. I mean, they were playing some of these songs on the Rush 40 tour. So yeah, and great album, cool cover. You get the introduction to Rush, and this is a good kind of CD or album or vinyl you want to stick in after work or after school. You want to relax. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like party music too. Maybe you just want to smoke a cigar and have a beer or something like that. It works for that. But it's a solid album. It's mainly rock and roll. You can hear Rush, you can hear the fundamentals and foundation of what is Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson. You got John Rutsey on drums, but they're not really doing the prog thing. They're just crafting songs, and it's self-produced, and it's a good deal. So sounds a little bit like Led Zeppelin or 70s rock, like Hiss, in that style, and it's pretty formulaic, but pretty good. So that is number 4. Number 3, Fly By Night from 1975. This is where the transition to prog starts. A lot of these songs are, I wouldn't say it's prog, but it's getting proggy. And I rated it as 7 of the 8 songs they get the check mark. So there's no skips on here. This is definitely an improvement over the debut album. It's a good follow-up, and it's got good artwork, and what makes it really legendary is it's Neil Peart's very first album with Rush, and he's jumping in. He's not writing all the lyrics at this point, but I think he's got 5 or 6 of the 8 songs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, five of the 8 songs Neil Peart's written the lyrics. The rest are some holdover songs from Geddy and Alex. And you got that it's got that debut album feel to it, but what's better about it is tight song lyrics and storytelling by Neil. It's not a full-fledged concept album, but it's getting more in that realm of he's telling the story thing. It's not a full calorie progressive album, but moments and songs, okay, and especially Bytor and the Snow Dogs got this real cool section going on in the beginning. Anthem is pretty proggy. yeah, it's pretty happening record. So the future's coming, and the prog giants are right around the corner. And this is a great effort and a good follow-up to the debut album. Right, number 2. This is a tough decision for me, but I'll do Caress of Steel number 2. Let me tell you, it's really close to number 1. I mean, it's so close. I'm almost just flipping a coin, but I'll talk about what the tiebreakers are. 1975. This is definitely a transition album from what Rush was going to more proggy. It's definitely the coolest of those 3 albums I just talked about. It's the coolest. It's probably the coolest of the 4 albums, actually, just with the songs that are on here. Neil Peart's, he's really paying off huge dividends for the band. The songs are much better. They're at this point they're allowing Geddy and Alex to just focus on the music. Neil's taking the pen on the lyrics, and that's really paying off. 2 of the 5 tracks are proggy, and 40% of it, that's 40%, 2 out of 5. But like almost all of it, if you score it minute by minute, it's 32 out of 45 minutes. It's like prog tracks, and that's because of the tracks 3 and 4. Sorry, I just misspoke. It's 4, The Necromancer, and 5, The Fountain of Lamneth. It's a giant 20-minute epic prog track about getting old and dying, really. Everything that happens in between. Yeah, and The Necromancer is one of my... I'll put it in my top 5 of Rush songs. Okay, I feel that strongly about it. I really like Necromancer a lot. It's got all the big guitar parts from Alex. It's got great drumming and singing. It's telling a funny story. I mean, it's Rush and the characters of Rush, and they're doing like Lord of the Rings stuff. I think that's funny. If you're into prog, yeah, you'll like this record. Close call though, but I'll put it at number 2. And just edging it by a hair, number 1 for stage 1 is 2112 from 1976. This one is I think what makes me give it the edge is the longer track, 2112. I like it a little bit better than Fountain of Lamneth. Okay. There's no like 10-minute track on this, like the Necromancer. But the 2112 gives that, okay, that one wins. And then the last 5 tracks, those are all solid. They're all good. They all, 4 out of 5 of those get the check mark. And none of them are really skips. But this is like a prog album. And it's got the legendary cover with the pentagram and the space, which fits the theme of the title track. So yeah, great album. I think these 2 are going to be way up there when I do the rankings for all of Rush. I think these are top 10 Rush albums. Okay, for sure. But yeah, the writer is even tighter. The writing is even tighter. The music's even tighter. It's more prog. It's a prog album. It's not proggy. It's prog, and it's not quite a concept album yet, but it's getting there. And you've got the heavy Ayn Rand thing going on, especially with the opening track and telling the story of, the guy with the guitar and fighting with the priests who are the sort of like the ruling class, and then you got the elders coming in. Okay, so that's it. So quick summary. Let's go from top to bottom. Number 1, 2112. Number 2, Caress of Steel. Number 3, Fly By Night. And number 1, Rush. And actually, that's quite easy. And honestly, it's in the order that they were released. And each one is better than the one before it. Although 3 and 4 are close. I mean, the 3rd and 4th album of Rush it's just a sliver better for 2112. Okay, so we're just about at 10 minutes. Rush is interesting. And I know all you Rush hardcore fans that are listening to this, you already know this. But Rush is interesting in that they had a good formula going for their first three stages where they would do four albums and then they would tack on a live album at the end. Okay, and I have those live albums. And I've heard of Show of Hands, but I've got it coming in the mail. I can't wait to just pop it into the Bose and listen to it. But you know what Rush did was they did four albums and a live album, and they did that right until the end. Except with Stage 5, they only have three albums, and then they got a bunch of live albums. So Stage 2 looks to me like it's the best stage out of all of them. It's 77 to 81. You've got a Farewell to Kings, which I've written the review. I just got to record it. God, I love that album. Hemispheres, Permanent Waves, and Moving Pictures. Those are four solid, top-notch prog albums. Amazing. And that ends with Exit Stage Left, which I've had that album for 30 plus years, and I've listened to it a lot. I love Exit Stage Left. Stage 3 is 82 to 89. This is their 80s stuff. It's really, heavy on the keyboards and a lot of singing, and it's not as proggy. It's proggy, but it's more poppy, pop prog. Kind of like Steven Wilson's To the Bone or that weird last one he did, The Future Bites. Yeah. It's kind of like that, shorter. But I mean, Stage 3 is good. So Signals, Grace Under Pressure, Power Windows, Hold Your Fire, and then it ends with a live album called A Show of Hands, which is actually pretty cool to listen to. To get all those mega 80s tracks on one CD or DVD. I have the CD. And that takes you up to 89. Stage 4 is 89 to 97. It's a longer one, so they're more mature at this point. Albums are taking longer, the tours are bigger. Presto, Roll the Bones, Counterparts, and Test for Echo. Solid. I would even say that Stage 4 is better than Stage 3. And then that one ends with Different Stages in 97. And that's the Test for Echo tour, mostly. They pulled in some stuff from the Counterparts tour. And then they've got the third disc for Different Stages. That's all from like 70, I want to say 78. So it's like that Stage 2 band playing Stage 1 stuff and Stage 2 stuff. And then you got Rush Stage 5. Now this is like more modern era Rush. Vapor Trails, Snakes and Arrows, and Clockwork Angels. So they put out 3 before they retired. It's too bad they didn't get a 4th one. I think we all wanted a 4th one. Kind of makes me sad. And then you got a bevy of live albums. I mean, the industry has changed, so they're doing live albums essentially after every record, but so is everybody else. I mean, Yes is doing it. David Gilmour's doing it. Roger Waters is doing it. Steven Wilson's doing it. You put out an album, then you put out a live album, or you put out 2 albums and a live album. But that's pretty much what the industry is now. Okay, that's how they make money. Okay, folks. Well, that's the Stage 1 review. I kept it short and sweet, and ultimately, I'm gonna get through all the album reviews, and I'll do stage reviews for each one, and then at the very end, I'll do my Rush review ranking. It's probably going to take me that long to figure out how all these fit together. I still don't quite, I don't know where to put Snakes and Arrows and Clockwork Angels. I think I got everything else down. Honestly, you guys are going to hate me, but I think they're going to be in the bottom. They're not going to be last, but it's not the best. Okay. All right. Okay, well, 14 minutes. Thanks, everybody. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Coach Plow Guy out.